Yeah?
The post office debate limps on like an arthritic dog. Political parties are locked at the horns, there's internal mutterings of dissent within Labour, and newspapers are engaged in an arms race to prove that they care more about the closure of post offices than their competitors. Now, to assuage the public's anger, mini post office counters are to open in libraries across the land. They might as well. No one goes in them to read books anymore. Outreach branches, they're called, and they'll take the place of the much-loved rural PO. Except, who are these people who say that they'll miss the post office? Post offices are a dingy network of forlorn, musty shops stuck in a constipated time warp of sepia neglect, where the sponges that wet the stamps have dried up and the pens don't work. A perfect reflection of the establishments they're tethered to. It's as though the entire post office chain died in the mid-1970s and has been propped up in the clothes it passed on in ever since, rotting away in the high street like a bad tooth. No one likes going there, except lonely old ladies who don't get to talk to anyone since their budgie died, so natter on whoever's behind the glass. Oh, me varicose veins aren't off throbbing now, me bunions are making me walk funny, and me lumbago's playing me up something awful. Still, mustn't grumble. Let's tear the whole lot down, consign them to history along with ye olde tea rooms and warm beer. No one likes them either. Or at least let's give them a makeover. A clean would be a start. It would make us feel better too. Apparently 20 minutes of housework every week is enough to reduce stress and elevate our moods. If we all decided to spring clean the nation's post offices, we'd be the happiest people in the world. Something to look forward to, eh? I think we should do it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Vogue. And we're going to play Madonna now. Lay it in, James. Hey, here we go. Honestly, I was listening to James O'Brien this morning, and I was nodding my head up and down like one of those dogs in the back shelf of a car. He was saying, who likes post offices? What are they actually for? Who are all these people that are complaining that the post offices are going to be shut? I hate post offices. They're horrible. I'd do anything to avoid going to the post office. Queuing there with the detritus of society on some carpet that was made in the 1960s. The surroundings, the colour of old bandages. They're hideous, aren't they? Honestly, hands up who likes being in the post office. No one. So why are people complaining about it so much? If they were so very successful, there wouldn't be a problem. But they're being shut down because no one goes there anymore. And one of the reasons that people don't go there is because they're awful. There isn't a shop in the high street that's as unpleasant, unkempt and unmodernised inside as your post office, is there? Not one. Not even the glamour post offices in the centre of London. There's one that's on Charing Cross Road, right by London's prestigious Trafalgar Square. I think it's one of their major branches. It's not exactly a sorting office, but it's one of the jewels in their crown. It's hideous inside too. So I'm mystified as to who's who and why. Who's complaining and why? Who's going to miss them? Oh, it's going to ruin the rural nature of our rubbish. People in villages don't go to post offices; they go to Tesco. They're the reason that the village shops are closing down, is because they don't like parking in one place and going to get your bananas here and then getting back in your car and parking in another place and schlepping down the high street and going to get your meat in this bloke's and the fish over there. And it's not evil out of town centre supermarkets that have ruined the high street. It's us. If we didn't like getting everything all in the same place cheap, then they would still be booming, as would the whatever shop that the post office is stuck at the back of, which are only mildly less depressing than shops that are only post offices. Those are the worst of the lot. Like newsagents that have got a little counter at the back, that's pretty bad, because, they're open at 9 and shut at 12, for 2 hours lunch, and then they're open till 4, except for Wednesdays when they're not open in the afternoon, and you forgot about that, and you need to, But places that are only post offices, I can't think of a worse, with the possible exception of betting shops, I can't think of a worse place to be anywhere.
But if they're so horrible and no one wants to use them,
Yes.
why is there always a queue? Who is in that queue?
A queue. Well, yes, okay, you're right. There is a queue. Every time you go in there's a hideous queue for two reasons. First of all, there's no one behind the counter. They got no end of little booths there. No one in them. One old lady at the end, and somebody who's sitting there but not actually doing anything, like counting bits of slips of paper or whatever it is. Oblivious to the fact that the queue is out the door. Oh, well, it's not my shift. More than my job's worth to open it now. I can only assume that the queue is for people picking up their benefit checks.
I'll tell you the other reason there's a queue. Last time I went in to send a parcel or something, did all that, fine. And he said, "Do you have a home phone, sir?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you know that a post office home phone service could save you lots of money?" And he was asking this to everyone. And it was taking a good few minutes because he wouldn't take no for an answer.
Really?
Yeah, because they try and sell you all this extra stuff that they now
I've never
do.
had that. Perhaps it's the furious way my face is arranged by the time I get to the counter. Puts them right off.
I'll try that.
Who is going to miss the post office? No one. I can't believe a single person. And James O'Brien was saying this morning, and nobody called him up to say otherwise either. I challenge you. In fact, I double dare you. Call me now and defend the post office to me. I'm a reasonable person. I'm open to, reasoned argument. 0845 6060 973. Or whatever else comes to mind. Bangers and mash in a cone. Did you see that? I could talk about that. I could talk about the band who was given an ASBO for singing the frog chorus over and over and over and over and over again, despite everybody begging him not to. I could talk about the hospital phone call that cost £127. I could talk about the cup of coffee that costs £50. I could talk about Mark E. Smith from The Fall, who promised to kill squirrels in Cruisers Creek, yeah, probably. We could talk about the global credit crisis. It's much, much worse than you could ever dreamt possible, says the IMF. We could talk about global warming. It's not getting warmer, it's actually getting colder. Oh dear.
Why don't you dodgy tea again?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the lumps in the tea that are doing it to me. Scientists are predicting a drop in temperature this year after a decade in which the world has actually cooled down. Actually cooled down.
What?
Yes. The findings by UN experts come after one of the most brutal winters on record across much of the globe. In Canada, it has been described as the winter from hell, breaking records going back to 1837, while China and much of northern Asia have also suffered severe winter conditions. I don't know why I'm thinking about this now, but as I'm reading that, I'm thinking about Gordon Brown, who did a video insert for America's Got Talent. Did you see that? Oh, laugh out loud funny. It's hilarious. It must be on YouTube. Go ahead and look it up. Gordon Brown was filmed at what I assume is Downing Street, and they inserted the footage into, for some, I've got no idea why. I think it was a celebrity charity special, something like that. On radio, unfortunately, it's difficult to get across the visual. So you're going to have to go to your pewters and look it up. It must be on YouTube. Gordon Brown on America's Got Talent. Because he starts out, it's just him in front of a fireplace. And he's showing us his new teeth, because he must have had dental work done or something, because when he smiles now, on the seldom occasion where you actually see the man smile, it's like it's like a lighthouse going off. You practically need sunglasses just to look at him. And so, almost as though he'd been practicing his smile in front of the mirror, you could see portions of the muscles in his face, not used to arranging his features into a smile, working overtime. And the look in his eyes sort of relayed the fact that the rest of his face was doing something unusual. What's going on here, he's saying. And so he's smiling broadly like you've never seen before. I mean, when did you ever see him smile? You ever seen him smile? No, it's normally dur. What are you panicking at? I mean, I'm looking through there and I'm trying to
You're
retell.
fine.
You're not. You're
Absolutely fine.
It's as though the studio's on fire.
Oh, there is a small fire, but no, that's fine.
It's very disconcerting. Really, I mean, it's as though your feet were in boiling oil. Are you all right, Victoria?
I'm fine,
Right,
yes.
well, just sit still then.
Sorry for doing my job. I won't come in next time.
And don't give me any attitude. Anyway, where was I? Oh, you've got to see it. It's hilarious. So he's grinning like the Cheshire Cat at the beginning, and then he remembers that what he's about to talk about is children dying from malaria. And so about 30 seconds in, the smile drops off his face like a stone. And then he talks about, mosquito nets and let's save the world and so on. But it's the difference between the smiling and the presentation of what he's actually talking about, and the juxtaposition of the two is absolutely laugh-out-loud hilarious. And you can imagine that the American audience is in there, and they're completely unaware of what's to come. And here's a video address by Gordon Brown. Oh, they'll say. They'll say. 7:45. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. East Finchley.
Hello.
And I don't know why I veered off onto Gordon Brown. I suppose it was an image that had been seared into my brain from earlier on, because I was actually talking about global warming. And I don't want to do global warming on the show, but I just thought that this was interesting. I'll just read this out, and we'll go on with the calls. A lot of people backed up. So we're having a colder year than was expected, if global warming is actually occurring. The findings by UN experts come after one of the most brutal winters on record. In Canada, it's been described as the winter from hell, breaking records going back to 1873, while China and much of northern Asia has also suffered severe winter conditions. Jerusalem, Damascus, Amman, northern Saudi Arabia have had their heaviest snowfalls in years, and sub-zero temperatures. Saudi Arabia. The latest reports are sure to reignite arguments of climate change sceptics. They've consistently questioned the assertion that carbon emissions caused by industrialisation are the sole reason for the heating up of the planet. Now the United Nations World Meteorological Association says that mind you, the Meteorological Association, what's their 5-day forecast now? Because at the beginning of the week it was rain all week, and then the very next day they said it's going to be sun all week. I'd be entertained to see what they say now. But this is the United Nations World Meteorological Association. They say that 2008 will see a dip in temperatures, which is likely to continue throughout most of the year. The cool spell means, and here's the astonishing statistic, if you want to believe it. The cool spell means global temperatures since early 1998 are now below that of the period at 1961 to 1990. So we're now colder than we were in 1960. All thanks to global warming. The WMO Secretary-General said the drop could be explained by the effects of a La Niña, the climate phenomenon which cools the Pacific Ocean. Well, it doesn't matter what it's, how it's occurred, that it has occurred at all is the story. Since 1998, there's been no global warming. Since 1998, there's been no global warming at all. At the same time, we've seen a rise in the levels of CO2. In 98, it was 368 parts per million. Now it's 384. So there's a rise in CO2, no global warming. What we're seeing is a rise in the CO2 curve, but falling temperatures. Is, what's his name? The Nobel Prize winner. What's his name? Al Gore. Yeah. Listen to this, Al. Climate change is driven by many factors, but be they solar, the oceans, or phenomenon like La Niña, but it cannot be claimed to be all down to one single factor. This is the head of the World Meteorological Office. He said it's a bit like Glasgow on a Saturday night. It's chaos. You can't predict what will happen, and if you manage one pub, all the other pubs will have to be taken into account as well. I've seen Glasgow on a Saturday night. It's not exactly chaos. One of the funniest things I've ever seen, because I used to do a show that kicked out at 1 in the morning, and I would drive down Sauchiehall Street, which was the epicentre of bar life in the middle of Glasgow. freezing cold, of course. Remember that there's snow on the ground. It's chill in the air. And a gaggle of girls come out of a bar wearing, well, underwear, basically. A taxi is standing there by the side of the road, a black cab. She goes out to grab the handle, thinks that she's got a hold of the handle, but doesn't. Pulls back, or rather just leans backwards on her heels. Let's go of the handle of the cab slips through her grasp, and she falls backwards like a tree felled. Crash onto the pavement. And the cab driver just slowly drives away. Anyway, the comments echo those of Professor of Paleoclimatologist. Now, a Professor of Paleoclimatology. Anybody whose job title is 8 syllables long, they have to be worth listening to. He said, it's believed that man has influenced the climate through enhanced greenhouse gases and land use changes since the development of agriculture 8,000 years ago. He said the causes of many rapid climate changes remains unknown, but it's unlikely that greenhouse gas fluctuations are responsible for them. Greenhouse gases are a benefit, or he says benefice, which we can thank for raising Earth's average temperature from a chilly -18 centigrade to an estimated modern value of about 15 centigrade. So without greenhouse gases, we'd be freezing blooming cold. So, when you go home tonight, just leave your car running. I mean, lock the doors, by all means. Ascot, hello, Simon.
Hello.
Simon.
I totally agree with you about Gordon Brown. I watched him on TV earlier on, and you're right, he's got a brand new set of shiny gnashers.
Yeah, it looks like that.
It does, but I'm actually ringing up because I'm defending the post office.
Okay.
I've got a local post office in Windlesham, down in Surrey, and they do everything from all the dry cleaning, absolutely everything. There's no queues there. I can go at any time of the day. I'm served almost straight away. But,
right, indicating that it's not popular.
But what they're doing is they're taking on other services that's holding it open, like dry cleaning.
Right. Well, that's fine. It's the post office part that people aren't using. They're not. They don't want to shut the shop down. They just want to take the post office counter away.
Yeah, but then I look at when I used to live up near Edgware, and the post office there was an absolute nightmare. If you were going to get a stamp, you could be there for almost an hour.
Yeah, they're hideous.
So it does become a nightmare there. So keep the local post office open in the country, and fine, close them down in the towns or the cities, because it's actually a nightmare there.
Well, you know what? People in the country, they have to go and buy food, and they don't buy food, they don't go to the farmer to buy it, do they? They go to Tesco's and Sainsbury's and Waitrose like everybody else. Why don't you just, if you want to buy stamps, just go and buy them at the supermarket. I don't see what the problem is. Shut the post offices down. They're not working. They're hideous.
But post office used to be able to, you go and take big packages and whatever and put it on the scales, and it always went very smoothly. But now, because post taking on so many services where, like cashing social security checks and et cetera, that's why the queues are so long now.
Right. Well, everybody can open a bank account, or they can open a national savings account, or there's got to be some way that they can bank without just using cash all the time.
I totally agree with you. So therefore, I would say close the post office down in the city and the major towns where it causes a problem, but keep them open in the country.
Right. Well, I still have a problem with that, because they're being subsidised by the rest of us.
Well, not if the post office takes extra services like cleaning or.
Right, but then that makes them just a shop.
Well, right. Yes, it does. It does make them. Okay, you beat me on this one. Yeah. Our post office in Windsor is absolutely excellent. I'm just defending that one. I'm not sure about defending others.
Okay, thanks a lot, Simon.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Yeah, that's right. Post offices aren't necessarily just post offices anymore. They do all sorts of things. Well, no one's complaining about that. No one's saying, well, you can't sell stamps and you can't clean clothes either. Well, that's rubbish. I mean, presumably the people who run these little village post offices, they just have a shop with a counter in the back. I mean, in a little village, nobody nobody has a post office like we would see it in the centre of London, for instance, where that's all they do. That's all it is. They don't clean clothes there, and they don't sell, they don't rent videos or any other stuff that people out in the sticks do. It's the post office part that's the problem. That's the part that's losing money, and it's the part that's got to go. This is LBC 97.3. We're reaching 8.
How are you?
Hi, Milan. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, my friend?
Yes, very well.
Good. I'm speaking. Listening to you, my blood pressure has just gone off the scale when you're talking about post offices.
Oh, yeah.
Because my mum runs a very successful and a lovely post office in Chiswick, and it just everyone uses it as a focal point for the community.
Oh, come off it. Are the post office a focal point for Chiswick community? Do me a favour. What, hanging out in there, having a chat, are they?
They are having a chat, catching up, see what's been going on. It's a real community vibe here.
Right,
it's a strong community.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious. Strand on the Green is a place to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you. There are, you get the old, the queue of people claiming benefits, which, they should abolish benefits.
In Chiswick, I very much doubt it.
Mate, you'll be surprised. But you need post office. Well, I mean, how the old and the disabled are going to pass their parcels? They don't have a local post office, in... But in the rural...
They're going to pass their parcels. Hey, it's a party in there.
But I disagree. It's a lovely, the wallpaper and all. I don't know what, the paint you were discussing about. It's, the decor's nice. Everyone appreciates it. Mm-hmm. If it was closed down, there'll be absolute uproar. Letters going to the MP. And
no one will miss it.
Everyone will miss it, Nick. And I can't believe you're slating post offices. It's a vital part of the community.
Never heard such a load of old rubbish in all my life. You're winding me up.
I'm serious. I am absolutely serious. Come to Strand the Green and you'll see. It's a fantastic post office. Probably the best in London.
Right, okay, I'll bring my sandwiches.
Bring your sandwiches, bring your tea. And so, I mean, in the rural areas, I agree, you get one person per hour, but here you get one person per minute, so you need it. It's a lot of people use it for everything and anything.
Chat, yeah. It's the social centre of Chiswick, yeah.
It is the social centre of Chiswick.
Nine, I will check it out personally. Thanks very much.
Cheers,
the very next time I need to pass a parcel, yeah. Here it is, and that is an argument that you hear. Oh, it's the focal centre of the village, they say. Rubbish. The pub might be the social centre of the village. The supermarket might, at a pinch, be called, or the village hall. Actually, there are no social centres anymore. There are no focal points to. The pub is the last bastion of that type of community, isn't it? Really, it's the only place where people come for just to hang out and have a chit chat. No one goes to the post office to meet their friends, do they?
Another reason why the queue's so long and slow, they're all chatting.
Yeah, well, you know that you don't want to get behind the old lady who when she gets, knowing full well, mind you, they've got bad peripheral vision, don't they? You would think that they'd assume that there's people behind them, but when they get to the front, it's like, oh... and you think, oh, God, here we go. Talking about all their illnesses, and have you heard that such and such has died? And the person behind the counter is just like nodding away. They can see the furious faces of the people that are waiting to get served, but you can't move them on. How can you? The poor old dear probably hasn't had anybody to talk to, since she was last in the post office. Infuriating. Swiss Cottage. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Nick.
Bill.
I tell you what. I've just got my wife to pour me a large scotch, just to calm me down. I'm spitting feathers listening to you talking about closing post offices.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 80, I'm a pensioner.
Right.
I couldn't manage without a post office. Now, don't talk about banking. I've got a bank account, she's got a bank account, there's no trouble, our pensions are paid in, we don't even have to go there for that.
Well, what do you go there for, then?
Freedom Pass.
Freedom Pass?
Hold on.
Wait, hang on a minute. Well, let's deal them with them one at a time. What, the bus pass, you mean?
Yeah, the bus
Well, you
pass.
can get them anywhere.
No, where? Just tell me where. Tell me one place. 'Cause you've never had a bloody freedom. Sorry, I've never had
Have
a freedom
another
pass.
sip of scotch, Bill. Calm down.
You've never had a freedom pass, Nick, so therefore you wouldn't know.
Okay,
You
well,
go to
if
the post
you can get a bus pass...
Get a bus. Where
well,
from?
I don't know. There's newsagents.
You don't know. You just said you don't.
All right. Well, presumably,
you
Bill.
can't get
Hang on a minute.
newsagents.
Whoa, Nelly. If they were to close your post office, they would provide outlets for your freedom
You want
pass
to tax
elsewhere.
your car. If you've got a car, you go to the post office. You want to renew your fucking passport.
Well, you can retax your car through the post. I never go to the post office to do it.
You want to renew your passport. How do you do it?
Do it by post, Bill.
Yeah, this is okay when actually I'm partially sighted, so obviously I've got a real beef. I couldn't possibly do it. I can't fill the forms in. I go to my post office in Camden Town or Swiss Cottage. Not Swiss Cottage, because Swiss Cottage don't do them, but I can go to Camden Town and they'll do the darn whole lot for me for £6. You know, and next year I've got to renew my passport. So therefore, it's necessary that we go to the post office. And there's millions of other things that you do.
Well, you know what, Bill?
Stamps, I can get stamps in any news agents. It's true.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I forget the stamps, it's not just the stamps.
Here's where people are getting confused about this argument. We're not saying you'll never be able to renew a passport again, or you'll never be able to get your bus. Hang on a minute, Bill. Whoa, Nelly. You'll never be able to get your bus pass. They're saying, we'll give them to you somewhere. Where'd you go to buy your food?
We go to this. Well, my wife goes to the supermarket.
Right. Okay. Well, then you'll be able to get all of that stuff in the supermarket.
You can't go in the supermarket and go and renew your passport or renew your bus pass.
Not now, of course. No, but they will.
Ever.
But yes, Bill, but they will provide you places to go and do that if they take your post office away.
You think so? I don't believe it. All they'll do is just leave you out in the blooming cold. Nick, can I just come on one other thing, please, if I may?
Go on then.
Global warming.
Yes.
Global warming. 10,000 years ago, the world warmed up. It was in the Ice Age, it warmed up. I don't know what caused it. Nobody was driving cars 10,000 years ago. I think it's the biggest pass out. I really do. It's just a way to manage more tax from people. And honestly, I don't think there's any global warming at all. Today, I've been out today and I'm blooming frozen.
All right, thanks very much, Bill. That's the word from the outside. It's blooming freezing out there. We've got a How Low auction running at the moment, by the way. It's for another 32-inch Samsung LCD TV. You can get your TV licence at the post office. There you are, you see. Every day this week we've been giving away one of these. It's your last chance to win one. These are super fantastic. Trust me when I tell you. It's a widescreen telly, HD ready, built-in Freeview. It's got the lot. To enter this reverse auction, the person with the lowest unique bid wins. Text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. If it was a bid of, 69 pence, for instance, it would be LBC 69. To 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines close 7 p.m. Friday 11th of April. Bidders must be over 16. See lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Yeah, they're selling stamps on the internet now. I did that once. You pay by credit card and then you print off a little barcode on your envelopes. I've got that right, haven't I? I didn't dream that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, there you are. I rest my face. Here is, Abbey Wood. John.
Oh, bloody hell, Nick, you've called me in the middle of sending you a text.
I don't take texts, John.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, I've wasted loads of me credit now. I'll send you the bill.
Yeah, okay.
It's not just you, Nick. But this has been a topic with several presenters for quite a long time.
Right.
And they're always going on, can't you just open a bank account?
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 bank accounts. One of them's got about £3 in it. One of them's got nothing, and the other one's got quite a few grand in there. But the one I've got a little silly little pension. It's like £140 every 4 weeks. I've paid into it for years, and I wanted to change the bank that I used to have it paid into, amalgamate with another bank, and it was a nightmare. So I was going to change it to another bank. So I phoned them up and said, "Can I open a bank account to get my pension? It's a legitimate pension." well-known things. So I said, can I open the bank account and then you give me the details and I'll send it to my pension people, get my pension paid. Yeah, I've got to have £100 to open the account with.
What?
So if I wasn't fortunate enough to have a few grand in the other account, if I was living on that silly little bit of pension, I'd have to starve for a month to open the account to change the bank. Do you see what I mean?
Right, yeah. Be worth it though, eh?
So it would if I lived that long. But what I'm saying is, people who are living on them silly little pensions, they can't just open the bank. Who go to the post office and collect it? They can't just go, I'll go and get a bank account and get a cash point card, because you need £100 to open the bank account.
Okay, but once again, John, we're confusing the two things. What you can do in the post office, nobody's going to take that away. They're just going to relocate it somewhere else. They're putting them in libraries and churches. They're thinking of putting them in supermarkets.
Oh, don't do church. I was just wondering, they used to have one in my local supermarket with Safeways.
Yeah.
And they and they had a post office in there. It was open till like 8 o'clock at night.
There you are.
But then Morrison's took it over and they've done away with the post office.
Oh, right. Well, I can't...
Because you don't do text, I've just got to tell you this little brief thing. When I'm in Yorkshire, I go to... there's a little local shop called Jackson's. It's like a local shop that's amalgamated with Sainsbury's, but they've got a post office with it. And there's two girls in there. I use it a lot when I'm up there. And the two girls in there are brilliant. And they have they got their post office uniform, and the blouses are semi-see-through.
And you were going to put that in a text, John? Blimey, your thumbs would have fallen off.
Already, but
it's like an A4 sheet.
I never put my number with it, just in case.
Right, just in case, yeah, we'll track you down, John. All right, thanks very much.
All right, Sam.
They may be able to get away with that kind of behaviour in Yorkshire, but not down here. We're far more sophisticated. 0845 6060 973 815. LBC Travel with Will Gowing.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Tonight, still looking...
Hello, boys.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Nick.
Andy.
Do you know, that guy John before the break there, he's just inadvertently, I think, come out with the most solid reason yet for closing all post offices, and that's that the people who wear see-through blouses. Because I think every female that works in a post office is 140 years old, aren't they? Do you know, one of my most enduring memories of my childhood, right, is standing in a really long queue in a post office with my mother holding my hand. I'm probably 6 or something. And it's raining out and it's cold and damp in there and the place is full of cigarette smoke and everything's grey and brown and boring and rubbish.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the little glass windows are steamed up and there's someone in there who's 140 years old licking their finger and very slowly counting out the family allowance. Oh, God, what torture.
You paint a beautiful picture, Andy.
I called about global warming because it's a subject I don't think is discussed enough lately, and I feel a bit more discussion. What did you mention? I kind of heard half of what you were saying about that some
me too.
Organisation have decided that the world has in fact got colder in the last few years.
This is the United Nations World Meteorological Association. Who sound like they
obviously.
Yeah, they sound like they should know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but didn't forgive me now, right? Call me stupid. Okay, but didn't a couple of months ago...
It was too easy.
Didn't a couple of months ago another UN organisation publish some report where they said, oh, yeah, it's definitely happening? I mean, don't these guys talk to each other?
I've got no idea anymore. I don't think anybody has any idea. If we were honest, we'd put our hands in the air and say, we really don't know.
You see, that's the most sensible. That's the most sensible attitude to all this. We just don't know what's going on. No one knows whether it is happening, and no one knows where it isn't. So we may as well ignore it.
I'm not sure that's right.
Well,
because there's two issues. One is about global warming and whether the evil nature of the industrialized countries are sending us all into a burning hell. And the other side of it, which gets twinned with it, but it hasn't actually got anything to do with it, and because it gets locked in with the global warming argument, it's not doing justice to the issue of pollution.
Nail on head. Well, pollution and the use of fossil fuels. I mean, I'm all for, trying to not perhaps use as much fossil fuels as we do, because they're a finite resource, and pollution is obviously a problem. But, if all governments do is kind of start running around with their hands in the air saying we're all destroying the earth and we have to tax you loads more, and they collect a load of money off us because we drive a car around, that's all well and good, except they don't use that money to fix the problem of pollution or using fossil fuels. They're not doing anything about that.
The government is forever banging on about, we're not sending out the right message on this and that and the other, but the message that they're sending out is, we have to tax you more and we have to wag out their fingers in your face and tell you to do this and don't do that because of global warming. And people are like, well, a lot of people agree with it, and they think that it does exist, but a lot of people think, well, no, they don't. They're just taxing us because of it, and because recycling and pollution and don't drop litter and don't use plastic bags and all the rest of that sort of green sandal-wearing, muesli-eating, eco-hippie stuff that goes along with it. If you throw out the global warming part, then you throw all the rest of it out as well, and you just can't be bothered.
That's right, but I think if they instead said, look, fossil fuels are a finite resource. Perhaps we should be, trying to use less because there's not, they're going to run out.
Because it just makes sense.
And we create pollution, which is not very nice. Smoke in the air and people dying of asthma and all that. So let's try and use a bit less. Surely everyone would think, that's quite a good.
That would make sense. How could you argue against that? Yeah. Plus, it would be nice not to be so reliant on various areas of the map that we're beholden to at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know, just before I go, Nick, there's a really interesting website which I must tell you about. It's an Australian guy who's got this website called predictweather.com.
Oh, yeah.
And he predicts weather really, really accurately, months and months in advance, by looking at the phases of the moon and all that. And this his track record is excellent. It's, unbelievable. For example, over here, he predicted last year that in Ireland, the wettest day would have been, it was August the 11th last year, and he predicted that a year before that, and he was dead on.
Wow.
So this guy knows what he's talking about.
I don't accept that. I don't believe it.
No,
really. He predicted the one day of the year that would be the wettest.
He did, to the day.
Okay.
He bases it on the phases of the moon and the effect the moon has on the Earth and all this, right, which he reckons is what causes weather and what causes global warming, global cooling, everything that's going on. And this guy, who I think, because of his track record is very good, does seem to know what he's doing.
All right. What's the site?
Predictweather.com.
Predictweather.com.
Yeah. And he says that the argument about that we are causing global warming or climate change, he says it is bunk.
Okay. Well, what does he say our summer's going to be like?
Well, actually, I was listening to a thing about him on the way home. He reckons, let me think now, the first bit of June's going to be a bit iffy. There's actually going to be some hailstorms and sleet in some places.
Oh, no.
Second to third week of June will actually be okay. It's going to get a bit iffy again the beginning of July, and then after that we'll have about 4 weeks of decent weather. I can't remember what else he said.
Well, I'm not completely satisfied, Andy.
Well, time will tell.
Yeah, I suppose. All right, thanks very much.
Nice talking to you.
So it was predictweather.com. Right, okay. Well, I'll check it out. I think our own Meteorological Society has said that our summer will be a mixture of sun and rain. Well, yeah. I could have said that.
No snow, then.
Hundreds of millions of pounds of expensive equipment churning away all the data had to be used to come up with that. Or they could have just asked me. Here is Kenley. Tony.
Hello, Nick.
Hey, Tony.
Is it April Fool's Day again today?
Well, some of the press would lead you to that conclusion, but no.
Because I'm so upset and speechless almost.
Yeah.
I'm not religious, but did you hear that they've banned Jerusalem from Southwark Cathedral?
Yes, I did.
It's too nationalistic.
And didn't mention God enough.
Well, can we have your verdicts and other listeners, please? Because I'm not in the least bit religious, but I just can't believe it, and it's really, really upset me.
Well, it's the only hymn that I either know or like.
Yeah, it's better. Well, I'm with Christian Soldiers, but...
well, yeah, but it's a bit of a dirge, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Jerusalem, it's almost like, because when I was at school, we used to have daily assembly. You had to get up and first thing in the morning, just as the sun was rising, and go and stand with a lot of other malcontents who didn't want to be there either, and sing a song before school started. And when Jerusalem came up on the list, it's like all our little hearts soared. It did. It was the only one we liked to sing.
That's right. But I mean, I don't know if it was on your show, but a couple of months ago, it was, unless we're not allowed a national anthem, it was, could it be God Save the Queen, Jerusalem, or Rule Britannia?
Yes.
I can't say anymore. I'm speechless. But, no, for once in my life, a cue for a song, if I've ever heard one, but, no, if anyone has got any, points of view on that.
Right.
Because, I'm going to go home and have a large scotch now because I just can't believe it.
There you go. All right, thanks, Tony.
All right, then,
It did strike me as being a little bizarre. It was going to be one of our national songs, wasn't it? He's absolutely right. They did come up with a list of three. It was either going to be God Save the Queen, which is even more dirgy than Onward Christian Soldiers. How Her Majesty, God bless you, ma'am, or ma'am you're supposed to say, aren't you? It's not ma'am, ma'am. God bless you, ma'am. You're doing a super fantastic job. How on earth you can stand? Everywhere she goes is that song. Oh, Struth, here it comes again, she must think. Maybe she's got that's why she carries her handbag around. She's got industrial quantities of earplugs in there. She sticks them in every time she steps out of a coach. Here comes that tune again. Oh, Struth, can you stand it? But it was going to be that, or, Jerusalem, or, what was the other one?
Land of Hope and Glory?
I really, really, really want a zig-a-zig, or one bourbon, one scotch and one beer. I think that was going to be it, wasn't it? Land of Hope and Glory, yeah, that's right. But what's wrong with Jerusalem? And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? And was the Holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? See, so far, quite nice. Questions, really? Just asking the question. Did it happen? They said. Did Jesus actually come here and go to Glastonbury? I think it was the year that Radiohead were on. And did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills? And was Jerusalem builded here among those dark satanic mills? Right, so still again, did he come and march amongst us? And did his divine countenance shine forth? Did he have a smile on his face? Right? This is all about God so far. Bring me my bow of burning gold, bring me my arrows of desire, bring me my spears our clouds unfold, bring me my chariot of fire. I don't know what that's about. What's that about?
Pass.
I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. Till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. That's a little repetition at the end, because for the rest of it, everyone's just sort of murmuring along. But if you repeat it twice, repeat the same lines twice at the end, then at least you can end with everybody singing as one. What's wrong with that? Doesn't mention God a lot. It's all about God, isn't it?
It says here, they do not believe it is to the glory of God.
Yeah.
And it is therefore not used in private memorial services.
That has to be the most popular hymn that we have. It's the only one that has a tune that makes your heart soar.
Well, he goes on to say, even if you can call it a hymn. It's a good piece of music, and it's a very patriotic hymn if you can call it a hymn.
Well, I don't know. What's the definition of a hymn?
It's not a devotional hymn.
Right. But,
I have no idea.
But does it make you does it make you feel positive? Does it make your heart to soar? I mean, where does the devotional music stop and just popular music start? Just because people like it doesn't mean to say you should ban it. This rock and roll menace is destroying the nation's youth, and it must stop. LBC 97.3, the time 8:30. And Glastonbury's tickets don't seem to be selling very well this year, and there's a very good reason why. It's because it's awful. I used to go there from about 1982 for the following 10 years or so. I went almost every single year. I went in the first year that it rained, so that you were up to your knees in mud. Not subsequent years when you had, all sorts of various things that would dissipate the mud and... oh, you've never had it like I did. You young folk today, it were grand when I were a lad. And the other reason, apart from it being too big and you can't get anywhere, like you'll... the year that I thought, right, I'm not doing this anymore, you're at the main stage and there was something else on one of the other stages you wanted to get to, and it started in an hour. And you couldn't physically get there in time. And this was before it was over 100,000 people. This was when it was like 80,000, something like that, relatively small. I mean, when I first went there, you could sit on the grass and watch the final act, like the headline act, on the pyramid stage. You could sit on the grass and still see them. Not be there for 5 hours before they came on the stage and be peeing into a bottle because you were frightened to leave because you'd never get back in again. That's a nightmare. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. People aren't going because Jay-Z is going to be the headliner, whoever that is. Who's Jay-Z? And why has he only got one letter as a surname? Yo, yo, yo. I've got no idea what kind of songs he sings. Presumably they're all about my gun is bigger than yours and I'm going to kill you, sucker. Is it kind of like that?
that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, right. I mean, I've got no idea, but it doesn't seem to be the essence of Glastonbury to me. I mean, Glastonbury to me is John Martin. It's, who's the guy that did the bottle? That old the old grand geezer of black urban music. What was his name? Oh, I met him once. It's a photograph of me and him. He did the bottle. Gil Scott-Heron. See, now he fits in like a glove. Gil Scott-Heron. He closed the place on Sunday night one time when I was there. Fantastic. John Martin just drifts on with the guitar, says, "Oh, it's nice here, isn't it?" And he just plays a set of an hour and a half. Him just chirping away. You know, things like that. Jonathan Richman. That's what you want to watch at Glastonbury, not some bloke with who's ripped the badge off a Volkswagen, is wearing it around his neck. That's not Glastonbury. I think it's seriously lost its way. Anyway, here is Ealing. Hello, River.
Hello.
Is your name River?
Yes.
How fantastic.
Thanks to Clive Ball.
Thanks to Clive Ball?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a nice name. Anyway, I hope these bottles that people pee into are not recycled.
Me too, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that thought with me. It will stay with me for a while now.
Well, people at Glastonbury who do that, of course, they screw the cap back on and they just put it on the ground where they're standing. If they were at Donington, then they'd leave the cap off and they'd throw it across the crowd. They actually do
I'm not
that.
a man.
Yeah, I know. We disgust me.
Okay. I just want to actually ring in to congratulate Gordon Brown.
Yeah.
For deciding not to go to the opening of the Olympics. You know.
Now, why has he done that? Because apparently he's mortified that Hillary Clinton has congratulated him for snubbing China. But that wasn't his intention at all. And he's freaking out now because, of course, much of the wealth of the nation is based on our trade links with China, because they're giving us all of the cheap stuff that's keeping inflation low.
Yes, right. What a hypocritical country we are, then.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, completely, totally, yeah. All of those people who are complaining about the torch coming through and were trying to grab the torch away from the runners, all of those people, I can almost guarantee that they were wearing clothes that came from China. When they went home, they were listening to their MP3 players that were made in China, watching TVs that were made in China.
Now, come. We have to draw a line here. I think the Chinese people are very hardworking.
Yes.
I think it's good that they're growing economically. I think it's great that we trade with them.
Right.
What I disapprove of is the Chinese government and their human rights abuses tactics that they are using in Tibet.
Yeah.
That's really what we're actually objecting to and protesting about, and actually saying, well, the Olympics is supposed to be about free spirit and peace.
Yes.
And how can you celebrate, how can an Olympic spirit be free in torture.
Well, you know what? The Olympics doesn't have anything to do with it. Hang on a minute. The people with fudge between their ears chose China in the first place. Well, that's a matter for them and their consciences.
Yeah.
But the Olympics is about kids who have been training. They've been getting up at 5 in the morning and swimming lengths or whatever it is they do, and then eating a banana for lunch and having a nap and then going back for another 5 hours, and that's all they do is they eat and they train and they sleep, and they've been doing it for their entire lives. That's what the Olympics is about.
Sport is a great thing, but the point is the essence of what does the Olympics actually represent? It's supposed to represent peace and liberty and freedom.
Not really, no. It's supposed to represent peace while it's going. It's to represent the peace of the people who are taking part. It can't cure the social ills of the world. It's ridiculous to think that it can.
You say that, but look at what's actually happening factually in 2008. Look at the momentum of the people that are actually started off from small demonstrations, how it's grown all across the world now.
And you'd have to say...
Torch goes, everybody's hearing about Tibet now.
Absolutely, and you'd have to say that if China hadn't been gifted the Olympics, then this wouldn't have happened.
No, it's probably... there's always something positive in something negative, I believe. And I think that the best thing that can come out of this is actually for China to be aware that, yes, on the one hand, they're doing extremely well, and we congratulate them, because they are actually dependent in some ways on the Western world. But on the other hand, the Western world does have certain ideals, which are that human rights abuses are not acceptable.
Yeah, unless... That's right, unless we can buy a T-shirt for $1.99. In which case, our morals just go out the window.
I think we have to start with small steps and then develop to big ones. The first step that Gordon Brown has actually made a decision is a fantastic thing, because I quite often wondered about his ability to be able to make certain strong statements about certain situations. And I think even though he's done it very coyly, I have to congratulate him for doing it rather than trying to get all the attention by doing it quietly, politely.
I think that you should reserve your congratulations till you find out why he did it and indeed who advised him to do it, because I very much doubt that he just came up with it and then blurted it out. There would have been extended meetings about it.
I watched the news tonight. A lot of the European countries, Australia, etc., a lot of the ministers are now considering not to go to the Olympics.
Well, what's the point of that?
The point of that is to make a big point. In fact, it'd be even better if all the athletes also decided not to turn up for the opening night.
The opening night. Okay, but that's not. It's not fair for them. It's a big deal for them. They've been working towards it for their entire lives. Let them have their enjoyment. I mean, the opening ceremony is part of it.
Yeah, but to be fair to them, why can't they be in a? The sports people are in a position of power right now. They're the centre of attention. They're on the stage.
You mean the athletes?
And they can't...
Do you mean the athletes?
They're athletes first, but they have a conscience with the physical body.
No, I'm not having this, River, but we could talk about this. We're never going to agree, and we could be arguing all night long, but I'm not having it.
My point is, I'll leave you with this question.
Go on,
okay? I believe in non-violence. Is it tolerance or stupidity to accept China's human rights abuses in Tibet?
Well, listen, if you talk about human rights abuses, there's no country on earth that is completely innocent. And I think it's totally unacceptable to put pressure on athletes who are basically just, they're all young, aren't they? Most of them are kids. Blimey, we've got a diver going there who's 14 years old. Is it part of his responsibility to stand up against the Chinese regime? It's absolute rubbish. If we, as a nation, insist that our sweatshirts should cost $2.99 and we've got to buy a suit for 30 quid and, and all of our electronic goods must be cheap, and we won't buy expensive ones simply because they weren't made in sweatshops, we will actively seek out the absolute cheapest of anything that we can, which is one of the reasons that inflation has stayed so low. Not because of any, great stewardship of the economy by, the powers that be, but it's just that China has stepped up and is sending us over boatloads of cheaply made stuff. So we have to look at ourselves before we start to put any of this onto the athletes. This is their big day in the sun. Let's not cloud it over for them. This has got nothing to do with them. It's the people who gave China the Olympics in the first place. They're the problem. Why would they do it? I mean, how did they come to that decision? But you'd have to say that if they hadn't, then Tibet would be significantly down the news agenda than it is at the moment. I mean, it wouldn't have been top of the news for days and days and days, as it will continue to be as the torch goes around the world. If it hadn't been for that torch and the forthcoming Olympics, everyone would have been just carrying on, and the people with who are protesting about Tibet would have been cast off or discounted as the usual bearded, hippie loons and Richard Gere. So perhaps the Olympic organisers, with fudge between their ears, have done us a favour in that respect. But I think it's totally unreasonable to expect the athletes to make any kind of protest or to enjoy their big event, which is, what they've been working to their entire lives, any less, because just to salve our conscience while we go to the supermarket and buy jeans that cost £5. We could buy them that cost 50 quid, and they'd be made in America or Italy or somewhere like that, but we don't want that. We want them that cost £5, and we don't care who makes them. I think we have to take a good long look at ourselves. I'm going to post each and every one of you a mirror. I'll do it at the post office. 8:45. LBC Travel with Will Gowing.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Just had
Bingo.
Bingo. Hey, you know what's on tonight? The very last episode of The Sopranos.
Absolutely.
Now, this is presumably, and it's on at midnight, which is very bizarre. I mean, this is the greatest television series that has ever been put on telly, and they're sticking it on at midnight, the very last episode. Don't you find that a bit bizarre? I mean, that's something that should go out at 9, 10 at the most. But Channel 4, I don't know whether they can't be bothered with it anymore, which seems willfully bizarre, or they just assume that everyone's seen it already. Because it's been on, you've been able to download it off the World Wide Wait from the moment they showed it in America, like about a year ago now. And then they showed it on E4 twice, because they just did the entire thing from the very beginning all the way to the end again. And now I think Channel 4 itself are only just catching up. So for people who have missed it on Freeview or don't have Sky or anything like that, this will be the end of the road. Very sad. There's nothing else like it. I mean, I was watching something called He Kills Coppers or something like that on ITV, and I just finished watching the second from last episode of The Sopranos, which is, it just seemed to get better and better towards the end, whereas most television programmes, they tend to fall off towards the end, don't they? I mean, I can't think of anything that lasted a long time that actually got better the longer it went on, can you? I mean, it also applies to sitcoms. Things just sort of die at the end. But this, it just seemed to get... I mean, the detail that's in it is absolutely extraordinary. I've been watching it again, for like the third or fourth time now, on Channel 4, because the last series is just absolutely fantastic. The detail that's in there, you can watch it 4 or 5 times and not see things. What you're in for this evening, if you haven't seen it yet, is the greatest end to the greatest television programme ever. It's the best last episode of anything I've ever seen. And the complaints that came from America that you might have heard in this country, oh, what was that end all about? Don't listen to them. It is brilliant. It's beyond brilliant. And just keep... I don't want to say anything about it, but this won't lead you into any idea of what may happen. But just keep... I don't know whether I should say it or not. Keep The Godfather in mind. I'm not saying it ends like The Godfather, it doesn't, but there's parallels. There's little hints dropped here and there that are that sort of mirror some of the things that happened in that film. It's brilliant. I can't wait to see it again. Poplar, hello, Jane.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm going totally off on another subject here. I live near Poplar and near Canary Wharf, and I use the DLR.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been told that, you know, they're going to change the platform at Tower Gateway so that they're going to have 3 carriages. And I thought, well, that's fine. It's going to be closed from June to August, I think, next year to do that. I thought, well, that's fine. I can go to bank.
You mean from June this year to August next year?
Yeah.
Over a year?
Yeah.
Blimey.
And I thought, why? But never mind.
Yeah.
I can go to bank. So the other day I got on a train and it was a bank train. I thought, oh, I'll get on that. Got off at bank, went to turn right to go on the district line. Blocked off. Ah, right, okay. Why? I don't know. So I followed the signs, which took me on an even longer route than normal, and then directed me out of the station to walk to Monument.
And walking within bank itself, I mean, you virtually need huskies and a sled, don't you? It just takes forever.
Yeah. So I came out, go to Monument, and I thought, where's Monument? Asked the chap, he said it's down there, 400 yards down, go back down on the platform, get onto that. And I thought, right, okay. Monument are actually, or bank, or doing their escalators, so that will be out of commission from now, well, March, to June of next year.
Right.
Okay, so I thought, well, at the moment, I'm all right on the DLR to Tower Gateway until June.
Yeah.
No, we're not. From the 21st of April, you can't use it, hey-ho, would you believe, between rush hour, 5:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock.
Jane, it sounds like you're being picked on.
Well, not me personally.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like they're thinking, oh, blimey, here comes Jane. Quick, shut the escalators down. Go on.
And also, so it'll be closed between 5:30 in the morning and 10 o'clock, which is rush hour, and then it'll be closed between 4 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, which is again rush hour.
Right, well, that's perfectly reasonable. That's when everybody wants to use it, so naturally that's when they'll shut it down, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
All right, I know DLR aren't part of the Transport for London network.
Aren't they?
It's a different thing altogether. DLR is French-owned.
Okay.
But, you know, obviously nobody's talked to each other about, oh, right, we'll close the 2 stations.
Yeah. Oh, well, they wouldn't want to communicate.
No, of course not. I can use the Jubilee line, but that is now a 15-minute walk instead of a 5-minute walk. If the Jubilee line goes down, what is my option?
Stay at home,
well, there will be a bus service between Shadwell and wherever. And I said, have you ever actually tried to be on the road in rush hour? So, again, there's been no communication. They're both going to close at the same time for what amounts to nearly a year.
You'll just have to make yourself more happy with where you are.
Happy in myself. I'm happy in myself. I just...
No, I mean, be more satisfied where you are. Just don't leave the house, Jane. It's best.
All right, just not go to work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that's what I'll do, Nick. I'll say to work, I'm sorry, because of the stress I'm going to invoke on myself by going to work.
Tell them Nick said. Yeah.
And I'll say Nick told me that that's what I should do.
Okay.
I'm just amazed that this hasn't come up with anybody.
Well, it does sound as though you are being singled out for special treatment there, Jane.
Have a good evening, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
0845 6060 973. Let's have one in Croydon. Hello, Danny.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
2 points. One, global warming, very quick one. Absolute rubbish. It's obvious. It's rubbish. We're just being ripped off yet again. But we're a pussy state now, so let's just sit down and let them whip us again. The other point, post offices. Great idea. Get rid of them. Couple of little worries. One is a lot of things in a post office do take a lot of time to do one form. So, you know, if it's going to be, hopefully they won't make it all part of just queuing up and paying, because otherwise it's going to be a nightmare. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you said earlier about, you know, it might be in supermarkets. Well, obviously they're going to have some sort of post office type bit within the supermarket separate.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to have everyone filling out forms while everyone's waiting to buy.
Oh, no, absolutely. In fact, what I think they should do, and this should be the law, is that, you know, the bit at the front of the supermarkets that sells fags?
Yep.
It's a separate counter, isn't it? They've just got fags there.
Yeah.
Take the fags away and put stamps there.
Good point. Or both. But, you know, they're all little quick buys, aren't they? So that's, you know, that's cool.
Yeah.
The one issue I've got with the post office going is, I don't know if you remember a couple of months back, it wasn't long ago, so you probably will, they made this new thing, you can send off for your tax disc, you do it on the internet, and they'll deliver it within 7 days. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. And do you remember what happened? We apologise for the delay in tax discs. Could be up to 14 days before they come.
Right.
Now, I've obviously, in a post office you pay, you get a tax disc, you stick it on the car.
Yeah.
I obviously was running out. It ran out 3 days later, 7, 8 days later it ran out. I phoned up the police. Listen, I've ordered my tax disc. I've got the, you know, print off receipt. Can I drive? No, you can't, mate. Still an offence. So I was grounded for 7 days because of their backlog.
What?
So hopefully, you know, I don't want to, as long as they're not taking away the option to buy things there and then, because if you leave things down to anything to do with tax office of any kind in this country, you know it's going to go wrong.
A government department is exhibiting inefficiency, Danny. I find that hard to believe.
Oh, do you know what? I actually couldn't believe it myself, but, you know, believe it or not, you know, but then yeah, that's my only worries. But yeah, there's not a lot of point to them anymore, is there? And I think you've got to move with the times. And, you know, efficiency is part of, you know, conglomerating everything into one place.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm with you.
Vorsprung durch Technik. Yeah, exactly. Thanks very much, Danny.
Have a good night.
The thing with car tax discs, you know the most annoying thing about car tax discs?
No, I don't.
Well, have a wild stab in the dark. Guess why don't you? The most annoying thing about tax discs, and this irritates me twice a year, I hate this part of the tax disc buying process.
Is it taking the border off?
Yes. Why are they round? Those perforations don't work. They're not close enough. And you can spend all day long trying to get that little circle out of that square thing. Why do they do that? That drives me insane. And you've right at the end, you like towards the finish, you almost have got around the diameter, the circumference. Hey, I got something to do with maths right. The circumference. And you thought, it'll come away now. So you give it a bit of a turn, and you've got a big, giant chunk missing from your circle. Well, that'll get you a fine right there. Misrepresenting your tax disc on your window, not officially, you know, oh, blimey, you know what it's like. They should be square, right? You can't tear round. Or they should just print them round. I mean, what's wrong with that? Why don't you just give them to us round already? Anyway, calm me down. 0845 6060 973.
If nothing else, it then irritates you for the rest of the year, seeing that thing with a little tear
on it, yeah, right. Knowing that someone's bound to fine you for it. 97.3 LBC.
Are you disappointed with your... It's going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. Catford, hello, Trixie.
Hi.
Trixie.
Well, I took your advice and I checked out Gordon Brown.
Oh, it's on YouTube, is it?
It's well, I just found it on, I don't know where I found it, but it'll be all over the internet.
Right, in case you were listening earlier on, it's Gordon Brown, who, shockingly, appeared without warning on America's Got Talent, that Simon Cowell quiz thing that they got over there. He did a filmed insert. How that happened, it remains a mystery. I have no idea. I've only seen the filmed insert, and it's absolutely shocking, isn't it?
Well, my first thought when he was on was that he looked like, I think when he started talking, smiling at the same time.
As though he'd been practicing smiling in front of a mirror.
And he looked so different, I have to tell you.
He really did.
Try and check that out on the internet. He reminded me of Stanley Baxter. Do you remember Stanley Baxter, that
of course.
comedian?
In fact, Stanley Baxter is still alive. I saw a picture of him just recently.
He does a marvellous impression of the Queen. Well, that was the impression that came to me immediately when I saw Gordon Brown doing it. And I thought it was so sweet.
He did look like somebody impersonating Gordon... somebody with better teeth impersonating Gordon Brown, yeah.
Yes,
because
it was amazing.
Because he has this... when he was smiling at the beginning of this clip, you've got to see it. It's, look up Gordon Brown and America's Got Talent. It can be the only confluence of those two things on the net.
And I think it says Gordon Brown becomes an American was the title of the bit I saw.
A little bit, yeah, because it looked like he'd had a lot of television type makeup because he didn't look dead.
No, he looked amazing, and he was like a Hollywood actor.
Yes, that's right. He was acting his face off right at the beginning there, and then it was almost as though his face remembered that what he was about to say was thousands of children dying.
Precisely.
And then his face dropped about halfway through
But you know
when
what
he started
happens?
talking about mosquito nets.
When you force yourself to smile a lot, your face stays in that smile, and you can see that, oops, good,
Kind of, yeah.
And and also I have to say that his voice was softer, and it seems to be going together now. He seems to be getting some kind of a persona.
Well, obviously, if you're going to be filmed for an American audience, and presumably because it's a Simon Cowell production, this thing is massive in America, just like the X Factor is. So he will have been talking to probably his biggest audience, television audience, ever.
Precisely.
So I bet they put a lot of story. I bet he was practicing all day long. He must have been surrounded by a phalanx of people powdering and coaching him to...
But it was so sweet. It really was sweet.
Yeah.
And
it's the first time that word has ever been used in connection with
Well,
Gordon
I
Brown.
know, but I have to say that he was very endearing at that point. And I actually, hand on heart, I thought, I could almost fancy you.
Oh, Trixie! You've gone over to the dark side.
Oh, dear. Does that mean I have to go?
A little bit, yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
Thanks, Trixie.
Bye.
Cheers, my dear. Of course, what he was saying was, quite right and all. By mosquito nets, children will survive. Something like 3,000 children die every day. Something incredible like that from mosquito bites. And so what he was, proposing, absolutely quite right. Thumbs up all round. But it's just I've never seen him smile before. It was just a bit of a shock. It's as though he was kind of shocked. He was taken aback himself. Hey, what's my face doing?
All the image consultants were saying, smile, smile, and he didn't. They went, actually.
Wembley, hello, Martin.
Oh, you know what you were saying about Chinese clothing? Well, I've got nothing like that in the house. I won't have Chinese whatsoever.
Okay.
Everything is made mostly in England and elsewhere.
England?
Yeah.
Where do you buy your clothes?
I buy most of mine in Camden Town. I am a lifelong goth. I get everything.
Oh, come off it, mate. Those clothes in Camden Town, they must have been all made in China.
No, they got made in England on them. You go down there and look at all the made on them. Ola, made in England.
Really?
Raven, made in England. You won't get anything made in China that's goth. It doesn't exist. The Chinese won't do it. It's too intricate, you see. Too much hard work.
What,
Too
plain
much,
black, you mean?
Yeah, well, using intricate, patterns or doing intricate embroidery work. It's just not their style. They can't do it.
Well, that's absolute rubbish. Of course they can.
Oh, yeah, they can. But have you seen what comes out of a certain store in London? Or certain branches of stores? It's all completely, like badly stitched, badly made, buttons in the wrong place.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Camden Market is a byword for excellence in clothing.
Well, if you want to wear black, yeah.
Are you joking? Oh, right. Okay. Well, so nothing in your house is made in China?
No, I don't have any Chinese clothing in the house whatsoever.
Right. What about gadgets? Got any gadgets? Got an MP3 player, have you?
No. Don't have an MP3 player. Got a CD player, but that's not made in China.
How do you know?
Because I read the back of it.
What does it say?
Korea.
Korea. Right.
Yeah. And that's not China.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well done, Martin.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the game. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you.
0845 6060 973. Camden Market is hideous, isn't it? I think it's London's second busiest tourist destination, after the world's most boring museum, the British Museum. People must, they don't know before they go, do they? They come over here, they read the guidebooks, it says British Museum. And so they think, well, better go and see that then. Is there a more tedious museum in London than the British Museum? I very much doubt it. It's hideous. Bits of pots that are broken, columns that have fallen down. Blimey, it's like being in Greece. Dead people, desiccated dead people. There's nothing in there.
I think the common misconception with the British Museum is a lot of tourists, I did when I first came to London, have an image of the dinosaur, which is actually the Natural History Museum.
That's
but
right.
You think it's the British Museum.
Natural History Museum is endlessly fascinating, not just for what's in it, but for the building itself, which has got to be either the best or the second best, perhaps the second best after the Houses of Parliament, building in London. It's magnificent, inside and out. It's a never-ending pleasure to wander around. I mean, I'm not that keen on stuffed animals, so I usually just go there once a year for the natural photography exhibition. But you wander through and you're amazed every time you go in at the main hall there with a giant Dilopodus or Diathinkysaurus or whatever it is.
Just say it with confidence, you'll get it.
Yeah. But the British Museum is awful, and the inner circle that, what's his name, glazed over, that has to be one of the most unpleasant public spaces in all of London, isn't it? It's echoey and unfriendly, cold, not cold in temperature, but as atmosphere. Well, why would anybody want to stay there? Awful. I hate it. The British Museum. It's hideous. And yet, it's the #1 tourist attraction in London. I think that's correct. Second, Camden Market. Also hideous.
More than the London Eye and Houses of Parliament?
Well, no one goes to the Houses of Parliament, really. I don't think it's even in the top 10. Westminster Abbey might be, but Houses of Parliament, well, you can't even get anywhere near it these days, can you?
You could have the obligatory photo. As a tourist, you could have the obligatory photo standing by Big Ben.
By Big Ben, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, never ceases to impress. I mean, it's not that tall, right enough, but at any time of the day or night, it is a magnificent sight. Am I right? That it is sellotaped onto the Houses of Parliament as well just makes it extra doubly fantastic. What a building! What a photograph! Everybody, clap hands, stamp your feet, banging on a big bass drum.
You finally lost it.
Hey, I was singing there. Let's have... Shall we go for the travel and try to regain composure? Let's try that. It's 9:14. LBC Travel with Will Gowing.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Just getting news in of...
Trying to tell me that this is your act?
Yes, I'm an all-round entertainer. I'll dance for you in a minute. Here's Crawley. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Nick. Good evening. How you doing there?
Good,
okay?
thanks. Yes, very good.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about the service and quality of service we get with telecommunications in this country. We've just moved back from Spain and set up a business here in Crawley. And we use one of the UK's largest telecom suppliers for their services, including our internet.
Right.
We bought our website from them as well. And we bought the package to update the website and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Today I spent 4 hours updating the website. When I went to put it live, it wouldn't do it. So I rung them up, and after being in a queue for about 2 hours, the guy told me that it was because their servers are in Canada and it takes so long for the signal to get there.
What?
Yeah. Work that one out. This is one of the UK's largest telecom suppliers, if you know who I'm talking about, guys.
It takes so long for the signal to get there.
To get to Canada,
right,
to update our website.
What, are they sending it by post?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's what I said to them. My stepdaughter, on the other hand, was sitting on a computer next to me, and she was able just to type her Facebook thing up and put it straight up in about 5 seconds, which was free. But because we're paying an exorbitant amount of money in this country for their telecoms, they're able to do this to us.
The whole world's gone crazy, Dan.
Totally crazy. But saying this, when we were in Spain, we lived in a little rural town, okay? We had 40 megabyte broadband, perfect signal, everything was brilliant.
40?
40, yeah, in a tiny, tiny little rural village in Spain.
Yeah.
Come back to Crawley, next to Gatwick Airport, one of the hubs of the commerce in the southeast, and it doesn't work.
Right.
It's just crazy. I mean, I don't know if any of your other listeners are having the same problems that we're having with this company.
Back to snail mail, Dan.
Absolutely.
All right, well, the best of luck. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
0845 6060 973. He restrained himself really well, by the way. Did you notice that he didn't actually mention the name of the company that he's spitting blood at? He was furious right enough, but he managed to hold himself in check. Well done, mate. He's probably shouting down the phone now. It's me! Sorry, but I've faded you down. I couldn't believe that we got through that conversation without him saying something that he shouldn't have done. You know, the internet providers are hyperventilating now because people are starting to watch television on the net. And this is going to increase exponentially from this point on. People will be searching for programs, films, and so on. They have been a little bit in the past. But from this point on, with the BBC iPlayer, I think, is the turning point. ITV either have or will come up with something similar. I think ITV and Channel 4, I think all of the commercial channels are going to join in together.
They've all got them.
Okay. At this moment.
Channel 4 has one,
okay.
ITV has one.
Right. So, as what Bill Gates wants is the computer to leave the study or the second bedroom, wherever you got it, and to nail itself to your living room wall, for the television to be usurped by the computer, it's going to become much more a common thing to watch television programs, not over your satellite provider, who spent hundreds of millions of pounds putting satellites in the sky and paying for, rights to this, that and the other. Not the cable company, who's equally spent hundreds of millions of pounds digging up the road outside, leaving it open to the elements for month upon endless month, and you wondering why isn't anybody filling in this bloomin' hole to stick a fibre optic cable up your house. All of those people are going to be blown out of the water by, the usual suspects, Google and Yahoo and all these people that own the internet, because that's where we're going to be getting our programmes. And the same thing that's happened to the music industry is going to happen to television and the movies. We're going to bypass the regular providers, just as we bypassed going to the high street to HMV or Virgin or wherever it might be to buy your CDs. We just download them straight onto your computer and we'll listen to them like that, for free. People are going to be doing the same. Rupert Murdoch must have his head in his hands, because people are going to bypass him. I mean, you can already now go and download American television programs that haven't been shown here. Series ahead they are over there, and if you can't wait, then you can go and get them before the TV companies in this country will show them. Which basically means that for a popular series, they're paying like £1 million an episode, or $1 million an episode, whatever it might be, a giant amount of money for a big series like 24 or The Sopranos or whatever it might be. But people are in America are recording it off the TV, putting it onto the internet, and people in this country and Bolivia and wherever it might be are just recording it off the internet and watching it on television as though it were being broadcast here. One of the benefits is, apart from not having to subscribe to a television supplier, it comes without adverts. Because the nice people that are putting it on the internet, they're just cutting the ads out. So you win all round, apart from the people who are providing it to you. So I think the thing that's happened to the music business is going to happen to TV. It's going to happen to everyone, basically. All the certainties that the economy has been based on over the last 100 years or so are... There's an indication that a change is coming. But I think everything is about to be flipped on its head like that. Looked like you were going to say something. Can't do now, she's answering the phone. Right. How did I get onto that? What was I talking about?
The internet.
Where on earth did that come from?
Internet download.
Oh, yes. And so the internet providers, because people are watching all of this stuff on television, the thought is that the internet is just going to grind to a halt, because basically it's ancient technology that is trying to squeeze the future through its little copper pipes. It's kind of like driving a Ferrari on wagon wheels. It just won't go that fast. And so they're going to build this new thing called the grid. Isn't the grid what they called the evil computer program in The Matrix? If you take the red pill, then you'd never get to go back again, and you take the blue pill, then you'll be blissfully, happily ignorant for the rest of your life. Something like that. I'll take the blue pill, please. In fact, I'll take them both. Make a purple pill. Here's one on the M40. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Nick. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks.
Nick, I thought I'd let you know the price of petrol's going up by another penny tonight.
What?
Yeah, I filled up in a garage in Worcester, yeah? And the guy said to me before I left, he says, oh, by the way, I got a phone call today. The price of petrol's going up by another penny tonight.
Really?
Yeah, he's been told to put his prices up. The other thing is, Nick, I'd love to see some of this global warming the government's charging us for. Because all I seem to be getting is wet and cold.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. We're paying for it. Where is it?
Yeah, could we order some, like, from Europe, you know?
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, get it, delivered up by lorry from the south of France, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is, Nick, I think it's about time us as the British people in this country should get ourselves a backbone and start doing the same as the French do.
Like what?
You know, like, start demonstrating about the prices and the amount of tax that we're paying in this country. Because those mosquitoes in government, I think they're buying those mosquito nets for us to protect ourselves.
Right, from them sucking the blood out of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, that's right. The French would be pulling up bits of pavement and throwing them at the gendarme. But we're like, oh, well, mustn't grumble, like that. Yes, it's an interesting point. We've paid for global warming. Where is it? We want some. It's like they've charged us for it. We've paid the bill, and we still haven't got it. We're waiting. Oh, well, we'll be delivering it on Thursday between the hours of 8 in the morning and 7 at night. Can you be a little more specific? Can you narrow it down to oh, no, sorry about that. Can't do that. It's all about, juggling jobs. So it'll be, at some point in the future. But the global warming thing gets mixed up with littering and pollution and all that sort of stuff. So if people discard or discount global warming, they discount all the rest of it that goes with it. And I think that the two should be separated. Pull them apart. Did you see the thing about the beaches? This is horrible. Have you been down to the beach today? You're in for a big surprise. Britain's beaches are facing their worst ever litter problem, threatening 170 species of marine wildlife and spoiling family holidays. OK, the species of marine wildlife, we don't really care about that because they're icky and you go in the water and there's, like, things nibble at you and it's just horrible. If they was all dead, that would be much better, don't you think? If there was nothing swimming about in the sea, it would be much better, wouldn't it? Because then you could go in there with impunity. Things wouldn't bite your feet off, and it wouldn't be slimy and horrible. So we don't mind about that. But spoiling family holidays, that's where we draw the line. More than double the amount of plastic bags, bottles and cigarette butts are now blighting the shoreline compared to 1994 when official records of litter began. Twice as much. What's going on? Really, honestly, since 1994... the whole world's gone... well, not the whole world. This country, in particular, has gone off the rails. It's almost like, in 1994, we went out and got drunk, and we've been drunk ever since. There are 2 items of rubbish for every 3 feet of beach. Can you believe that? Like, you can barely see the sand. It found that the southwest has the filthiest beaches, with 3,320 pieces of rubbish. That's over 1,000 more than the average beach. So the average beaches are awful, but the ones in the southwest, which is here-ish... oh, no, wait, that's there-ish, isn't it?
West is left.
Yeah, that's right. As you look at us from space, you're right. And you know how you can remember where west and east? It just says we, that's all. That's the world's simplest mnemonic device. Why does the word mnemonic? How on earth did they come up with that? MN? No word apart from African surnames starts MN.
It's got to be Latin.
Oh, right. In Scotland, East Bay Argyll was described as particularly bad because of sewage. Oh, the smell of it. Shadow Secretary of State for the Environment, Peter Ainsworth, blamed government cuts in funding anti-litter campaigns. Well, it's the job of the people in opposition. Anything that comes, oh, well, that's the fault of the government, and if only they'd followed our sage advice, then they wouldn't be in this problem, and vote for us at the next election and we'll clean up the insert name of whatever it is that there's the problem here. It must be great being in opposition. It's like a totally free ride. You can just say any old thing you like and nobody will catch you up on it, because by the time you come into power, everyone would have completely forgotten what you said. In fact, you probably won't be doing that job anymore by the time you get into power. The way they just switch them around. Emma Snowden from the Marine Conservation Society said plastic bags are of a particular concern. They could persist in the marine environment for centuries and be fatal for marine life. Well, that's good. Anything that's fatal to marine life, particularly near the shore. I will not get into a body of water that's not surrounded by tiles for that very reason. Because you've got no idea what's in there. Am I being unreasonable?
Of course not.
You know what the problem is with all the litter on the beaches?
What?
Bins. When was the last time you saw a bin on a beach?
Right, when was the last time you saw a bin in town?
Well, there you are. If they had bins, you wouldn't have the litter. You don't need anti-litter campaigns. You just need bins.
Yes, you're right. Well, in California, I mean, there's a long time since I've been, but I remember going in the early part of the day and in the latter part of the day. They've got giant machines that like as big as our dustbin lorries. And they just drive up and down the beach, and they churn all the sand up in its innards, and they filter out all the rubbish, and the nice, clean, fresh sand is left in its wake. There's a thought. Clean 'em. LBC 97.3, it's 9:30.
Thank you.
We have a 32-inch Samsung LCD TV up for grabs in the How Low auction. It's a reverse auction. The person with the lowest unique bid wins. This is the absolute epitome of television technology. It is widescreen, HD ready. It's got a built-in Freeview. It's got the lot, baby. If you would like to enter this auction, text LBC Plus and your bid in pence to 88821. For example, if you were to bid £1.89, it would be LBC 1892 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines closed 7 p.m. Friday 11th of April. Bidders must be over 16. See lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. And the very best of luck. There were some odd stories about food in the press today. Like, really... And a chap earlier on said, is it April the 1st? And when I read this, I thought, maybe the calendar on the wall is broken or something in the Express. This can't be true. Bangers and mash in a cone. Did you see this?
Not appetising.
Well, there's a picture of it. And it's about the most hideous-looking thing I've ever seen in my life. Never let it be said that the Brits lack imagination. After last summer's washout weather led to a huge slump in ice cream sales, one enterprising vendor has come up with a wacky idea. Why not put a banger and a scoop of creamy mash in an ice cream cone? Why not put a banger and a scoop of creamy mash in an ice cream cone? Well, let's list the reasons why not, shall we? Sprinkle with peas and douse in gravy. There's a picture of it right there. Awful. I mean, that's really, properly, truly, hideously awful. Excuse me. Still got your doubts, says the Express? Well, the novelty treat is coming to a town near you this summer, and you'll be able to buy it from a specially adapted traditional ice cream van. This can't be true. They've got to be making this up. If the heavens open and you think it's altogether too chilly and damp to order ice cream, just ask for a mash cone. The bizarre new product is the brainchild of traditional foods company Aunt Bessie's. Who's that?
They make the frozen Yorkshire puds.
Oh, do they?
Amongst other things.
Frozen Yorkshire puddings? Does that work?
Just about.
The bizarre new product... its marketing manager, Jane Jones, explained, "We all remember the excitement of buying an ice cream on a hot summer's day, and we want to keep something of that tradition going." What? Now we can keep up the nostalgic thrill of buying a cone from a van, but without the chill, she said. The company came up with the offbeat idea in response to new warnings by the Met Office that Britain is likely to experience wetter summers because of global warming. Oh, blimey. Last summer, the torrential rain of the wettest British summer for 200 years. Was it? 200 years! Led to a serious 6.6% drop in ice cream sales, while sales of unseasonal and hot comfort foods soared. Really? But Aunt Bessie also wants to do its bit to revive interest in old-fashioned ice cream vans. At their peak in the 60s, around 20,000 vans toured Britain's streets, calling children out for an ice cream with their cheery chimes. Actually, you know what? That's one thing I've never heard, is somebody using an old ice cream van chime as a ringtone. I've heard everything else. I've heard wolf whistles. In fact, I've heard everything apart from the sound of a bell ringing. People, ordinary business people, will have Kylie Minogue as a ringtone. And it starts chirping up in the tube, and you're looking around thinking, oh, blimey, what dopey teenager has got that nailed to their phone? And a bloke in a suit will be answering it.
When you set it up, it seems like a really good, fun idea, and then, it goes off on the tube when you're on your own, with your mates having a laugh, and then you just want to die.
To die, yeah. I mean, the phone comes with perfectly reasonable ringtones, like, ring, ring, it will go, use that one. Not the 1812 Overture. "20,000 vans toured Britain's streets calling children out for an ice cream in their, with their cheery chimes. Now the numbers are down to about 5,000. Yeah, 5,000 too many. The vendors dispensing the new mash cones will be dressed just as the old-style ice cream men of yesteryear were, in white coats, hats and bow ties. I don't care how they're dressed. I'm not having one. You can dress it up any way you like. A sausage in an ice cream cone. It's a no. That's this summer's problems licked then, says the Express. So what will that be? 1 scoop or 2? I'll have none of the above.
Is it actually a wafer cone as well?
Yeah, oh yeah. Kind of it's an actual ice cream cone. Because they're assuming, because they bought in all the cones, they've got a stock of, a backlog. A cone mountain they've got. An inverted cone mountain, right enough. It's like an upside-down pyramid, because of the way they're shaped. They've got nothing to stick in them, or nothing that people want, because people don't want that ice cream. Mind you, it's not actually ice cream, is it? Even the ice cream that we make in this country that you buy in blocks in the supermarket, that's not ice cream. It's not iced cream. And you can tell it's not, because when it melts, it retains the same shape as it was when it was frozen. Actual ice cream just becomes a puddle. The ice cream that we sell in this country, we make ice cream like we make chocolate. Rubbish, right? When it defrosts, it's still a brick. It's just foam. They actually insulate the space shuttle with that stuff. And so that's bad enough, but the thing that they squirt out of the taps on those rinky-dink vans, what is that? I'd actually be quite keen to know. What is it?
It's almost like soggy meringue, isn't it? That kind of texture.
But it can't... What is it actually made of?
Sugar.
I mean, everything else that you buy, there's the ingredients written on it. But that, which we're giving to children, you've got no idea what's in it.
Do you think they now have to give out nutritional information as well if you demand it? Like all the fast food restaurants have to.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yeah, I want to know what's in that. I mean, I'd just be keen to find out, just for curiosity's sake. I mean, I'm never going to buy it. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to eat one of those. Life's too short, and the waistbands are expanding. But if anybody has got any idea what's in them, it'll be like petrol and ground-up cats. Something like that. With one of those E-number colouring agents to make it nice and creamy. You could actually run, if you got enough of it together, you could actually fly a plane on that stuff. It's flammable. I had no idea. Let's have Stansted. Hello, Pat.
Oh, hello there.
Pat.
No, I looked this up. I didn't get it out of my brain. Mnemonic.
Mnemonic,
It's medieval Latin.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just intended to aid the memory, but it doesn't tell you exactly how you do that.
No.
They're just ideas. Now, the other thing I was...
Well, it's like Richard of York gave battle in vain, isn't it? They're just handy memory
Yes,
AIDS.
what are things when you can get letters to, you get a list of letters that can trigger off all facts you need to know?
Yeah, that's like Richard of York gave battle in vain. It's the colours of the rainbow: red,
do you know,
orange,
I didn't know that.
yellow,
I didn't
green,
know that.
blue, indigo,
I know
violet.
Mopfitzweck, which is something to do with French main clauses, but that's years ago. Now, the other thing I was going to say, I haven't heard any comments about the new English coinage, which I thought was horrible, all those fractured designs. I haven't heard anybody on any of the programmes on LBC mentioning it.
Right.
I just wondered what other people thought of it.
It's it was a 5-year-old came up with these, didn't he?
Well, I just thought it was awful.
Some
I thought
child.
It was fractured. I'm sorry they've lost Britannia. Yet another little English thing that we've been, I mean, it was been there for 300 years.
Well, you know what? If I asked you, Pat, what was on the back of a 5-pence piece, I bet you couldn't tell me.
No, I couldn't.
Or a penny?
No.
10p?
No, because I never look at them.
Pat, have you got 10 pence?
I have got 10 pence, not here. No, but it was just one of those things. But I didn't like the design that you put it all together. I just didn't like it. But
well, it doesn't work because they're round, aren't they? So I think that in essence, it's something that just doesn't work because they're circular. You can't put them together.
Mm. But I just wonder what other people thought. I mean,
Right.
It's only my opinion.
I think we should get rid of coins. Coins are... it's high time we got rid of coins.
Really?
They're filthy dirty, and they put holes in your pockets, and I
What would
hate
you have
carrying them.
instead?
A little plastic card. I mean, they're already
Oh.
coming out with this, aren't they? A cash
Are they?
card, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't use cards at all.
Or just have a little... we shouldn't have to carry around anything at all.
Oh, you are lazy.
Oh, well, yeah, I hate carrying things. And every time I leave the house, I feel as though I'm carrying enough to go on an Arctic trip.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, everybody to their own view.
I suppose so, yeah.
I mean, the one thing about your programme, the thing I like about it, is that people are able to say what they think, and what their views are.
Yeah, I'll
without
hear...
saying, the same as the sort of presenters on Radio 4, say, now in 2 seconds, will you explain why we have such difficult problems with economics in this country?
Can I?
No, I mean, this is what happens on Radio 4.
Oh.
They say...
My heart was beating really fast there, Pat. I thought I was being put under the microscope.
Well, we've only got another 10 seconds, so
Yeah.
can you... And I think that's really rude, apart
Right.
from anything else.
No, I'll listen to any old rubbish, Pat.
Well, I think you're very patient.
OK, well, I'll put it out there and I'll see what comes back, all
What
right?
other people thought.
All right, thanks,
Okay.
Pat.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, we should get rid of pennies. All copper coins have got to go. I mean, I don't know about you, but just the coinage in general just really creeps me out. I mean, tramps have it in their pockets, and they're, relieving themselves where they sit. And then going and spending, paying for a can of, lager, and then when you go in and buy your newspaper, you're getting that money in change.
Must get some gloves.
And then you're picking food out of your teeth with the very fingers that you've just been fondling their coinage with. Horrible. See, this is why the Queen wears gloves, because she doesn't like handling coins. I'm seriously going to get a selection of white gloves to wear in public. Up to my elbows. What do you think?
Good look for you.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. 9:44. LBC Travel with Will Gowing.
Thanks a lot, Nick, and it's still looking...
Here's a call in East Grinstead. Oh, Will.
Oh, hello.
Will.
I was expecting the news to come on.
Not yet.
Okay. I was just putting the phone on speakerphone so I could...
Take us off speakerphone.
You're off speakerphone.
Very good.
You're the only other person that's shared my view about these taxis. There's absolutely no reason for them to be round.
Round is so annoying.
I mean, not only do they end up the wrong way up in the holder half the time...
Yeah, which is probably a finable offence.
I'm sure it is. But, yeah,
They're impossible to get out of their square, perforated container.
Are you really buying them every 6 months rather than one a year? They charge you an extra 10% for the privilege.
Do they?
They do.
I did it for a little while because I thought, I hate my car. It's
You're not gonna
bits
have
of
it in 6 months.
bits of falling off it all the time, the heater doesn't work and the engine makes a funny noise, I'll get rid of it. But then, I think, well, that's not going to help the environment, is it? You might as well flog it into the ground. Plus, who can afford a new car?
Well, they reckon that the most environmentally friendly car is an old car.
Yeah, absolutely.
It already exists.
Yes, I mean, if you had an old... I mean, you can pick an old Rolls-Royce up for like 10 grand, can't you?
Probably 4 grand, actually.
Well, yeah. And if you had one of those, then it would be a much more environmentally sound proposition than buying a new car. Because is it not true that most of the pollution caused by cars is in the manufacturing process?
Exactly, and all the kind of people get into the factory to do their jobs and transporting all the raw materials around and the mining and...
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Purifying of all the materials and...
So, actually, it would be much more beneficial to the environment if you just flogged your old car into the ground.
Absolutely. I mean, my car's a 1991, I paid 50 quid for it, and I just repair it when it goes wrong.
Yeah. The worst offenders in that respect, by the way, are those hybrid cars, because they got 2 engines.
Yep.
They're incredibly expensive to make and take enormous amounts of natural resources to nail together. So those people that are driving around in their pious mobiles,
yeah,
then you're not really part of the solution.
Well, I had a first-hand experience about 2 months ago of one of these hybrid vehicles. I won't mention which one it was, because I was in Canada and the outside temperature was minus 18 some days.
Blimey.
And so you turn this car on, and it immediately starts its engine, because it has to start the engine to get the heater working. So you're losing any benefit of the fact that it's got any electrical system in the car, and you're dragging around all the extra weight of the electrics and batteries. So this thing was doing like 20 miles to the gallon.
Yes. Well, time and time again, I've seen that people test these cars. There was one just recently, I think it was in the Sunday Times. They take a hybrid car and an ordinary diesel. It's usually against a diesel, and they drive it, over hill and dale, and come to find out that the hybrid car is all comes out second in as far as in environmental health goes.
I think it's good that they're trying these things, and they're kind of giving the idea that they're trying to...
Yes. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't... we're nowhere near the big breakthrough yet. I mean, this is all tinkering at the edges, really, isn't it?
I mean, my car that cost 50 quid, I looked in the handbook, and at 56 miles an hour, it's supposed to do 72 miles to the gallon, which I think it hasn't been bettered, really, since...
What? What is that, pedal power?
It's just a very basic car without power steering, without air conditioning, without all this extra weight of airbags and... all this
72
stuff.
miles a gallon?
72.
What kind of car is it?
It's an old Peugeot.
Diesel. I'm stunned. I didn't think such a thing was possible outside of a bike.
Yeah.
And what does it actually do?
At least 60.
Right.
It really is astonishingly good on fuel. And I don't know how they've managed it, but they've managed to sort out the problem that old cars used to have, where the bodies used to go rusty. It's got virtually no rust on it whatsoever.
And it cost you 50 quid?
50 quid on a well-known auction site. I bought it completely blind because they had no picture of it. And the description was, Peugeot failed its MOT on a load of stuff, can't be bothered to say what, 99 pence, no reserve. I thought, well, the worst-case scenario is, I'll buy it, it's rubbish, I'll have to take it to the scrapyard, and the scrapyard will give me £40 for it.
Right.
So I just bought it, and I turned up and thought, this can't be it. It's really nice.
What colour is it?
Metallic grey.
Well, you see, there you go. I mean, you could have shown up and it could have been brown.
Oh, yeah. It's a risk you have to take. You have to factor in that risk in your bid. But quickly, before I waffle on all night, ice cream music.
Yes. What is the song that they always used to play?
Well, I happen to have 2 of them.
Oh, dear.
Which I'm happy to play. They're only a few seconds.
All right, lay it on us, Will.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Wow, it's in stereo, too. And what is that?
That's Popeye.
Oh, that's right. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, yeah.
No, you'll probably have to pay PRS for that.
Oh, no.
The other one I've got...
Go on, then.
...is...
it's the Walls Cornetto song.
Yeah, not mentioning any brand names.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? Whoops, that one slipped out.
Oh,
yeah.
Soul
I couldn't
Mio,
help
I
it.
think it's
Oh,
called.
yeah.
The reason I've got these is, bizarrely, I used to own an American police car.
Right.
And there's this slightly kind of grey area when it comes to driving around in something, especially if you've got a working siren on it. So I thought, what could I have that's really loud, but probably won't get me into so much trouble?
That's very funny.
So I went to a well-known auction website and bought the actual musical boxes that they have in extreme bands. And they are literally musical boxes, mechanical musical boxes, with like a guitar, electric guitar pickup strapped to them.
And that's what comes out of your American police car?
And that's what used to come out at 100 watts out of the speaker on the roof on this thing. And it was quite amusing, because I did get pulled over and they said, so, you got a siren on this thing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, hang on, check it out. Ding, 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 ding. And,
with the lights going at the same time?
No,
what a picture. I bet that didn't do 67 miles to the gallon.
It did about
6.
20.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, that's great. Thanks very much,
All right,
Will.
Nick.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well, that's, I want that car.
I want an ice cream.
Now, somebody called in with, and they've disappeared now, probably...
yeah, could their phone's conked out.
Yeah, but they had the actual ingredients of an ice cream.
Do you want to say it, or shall I?
Well, now, how did they... Because I saw it on the screen what they said it was, and it was kind of repellent. And I don't know if we should say this on the air. Well, they're not brand names, are they?
Exactly, you can't libel all of them.
Right. Now, how did they know that that's what it was, Victoria?
They didn't say, but he seemed pretty sincere. Like, I'm sure he hinted at having read it somewhere, like so many people of authority do.
They probably read it on the internet. There is no misinformation on the internet. You know that.
No, not at all.
So he said it was
90% pig fat.
90% pig fat.
And then again, I mean, bacon's got a lot of
pig fat in it.
Pig fat on it, and we eat that.
But I wouldn't want a cone full of it. That can't be true. I disbelieve that. Well, it would have to be... you have to get the pig fat and aerate it to make it more fluffy and yummy. I love the taste of the pig fat in the morning. Tastes like chicken. No, I'm not believing that. I don't believe it. I disbelieve it. But then I wouldn't believe that you could charge 50 quid for a cup of coffee. This was one of the other bizarre food stories of the day. This is also a repellent food story.
Theme tonight.
Repellent food stories. A department store is to sell coffee at £50 a cup. Which department store would you think would sell coffee at £50 a cup? You'd think, well, you'd go down the list, the usual suspects. You'd start at the top, you'd say Fortnum's. That's the most expensive. And then, if not them, you'd say Harrods. That's would be the second. And then you say, well, if it's not them, then you start to flail around a bit. Selfridges? No. Ooh. Liberty? No. Well, I'll give up. It's actually, it's John Lewis, which seems willfully bizarre. Peter Jones. Peter Jones is just the John Lewis branch that's on Sloane Square, right? They're going to sell coffee at £50 a cup. Peter Jones, part of the John Lewis Group, believes its shoppers will jump at the chance to try what has become the country's most expensive cup of coffee. No, they won't. Not even in Chelsea, not even with all the money that's sloshing around over there, would anybody in their right mind spend 50 quid for a cup of coffee. Even though the beans have spent much of their life inside a cat's stomach. That's right, it's this stuff. Cafe Raro, made by the Italian company DeLonghi, is a blend of the world's two rarest coffees. Jamaican Blue Mountain. I've had Jamaican Blue Mountain. It tastes like coffee. It costs 4 times as much, tastes like coffee. And Kopi Luwak, which gets its rich flavour from being ingested by Indonesian jungle cats and harvested from their faeces. The coffee is available until the end of the month, so form an orderly queue at 50 quid for a shot at the Peter Jones Espresso Bar in West London, or £50 for a 100-gram packet of coffee beans. I'm on about £3 of cat per a day now, man. but I can handle it. I'm just getting also through 10 tubes of toothpaste a day as well. Yeah, what have we talked about on this super show?
Cashier number 3, please. Post offices must close.
Yeah.
Global warming, but it's colder somehow.
Yes.
Gordon Brown on America's Got Talent. See-through blouses. Jerusalem, the hymn, not the place.
Mm-hmm.
The summer weather will be a mixture of rain and sun.
Yes.
Funnily enough, the last episode of Sopranos is on tonight at midnight.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The DLR and TfL are conspiring against Jane from Poplar.
From where?
Poplar.
Where is it?
I can't read my writing. Government inefficiency. Shocker. Trixie fancies Gordon. Glastonbury is awful. Camden Market is hideous. And the British Museum is boring.
Yes.
Tax discs while they're round. Big Ben. ISPs. 2 items of rubbish for every 3 feet of beach.
Yep.
Mnemonics. And I've run out of time.
Always the way. LBC.
Aer Lingus now flies from Heathrow to Belfast.